But what if I told you your greatest enemy is not out there? It's much closer. It's the voice inside your own mind. It's the voice that tells you you're not good enough, that you can't change, that you should just give up. Miyamoto Musashi, the undefeated legendary swordsman, knew this enemy well. He discovered that true strength wasn't about mastering the sword, but about mastering the mind. In this video, we will not just talk about his philosophy. We will unpack Musashi's timeless system for defeating the 5 great enemies within your own mind. For each enemy, I will give you a powerful, practical technique, a simple rule or practice that you can start using today. By the end, you will have a complete toolkit to turn your mind from your greatest enemy into your most powerful ally. Let's begin with the first and most common enemy, the voice of self-doubt. Have you ever had a great idea for a business or a creative project, only to talk yourself out of it before you even start, thinking, I just don't have the talent for that? That's this enemy at work. It makes you cling to what you know, terrified of failing at something new. Musashi taught that this attachment to your skills is a trap, but his solution was not to build more skills, but to embrace ku, or emptiness. In Zen, emptiness doesn't mean nothingness. It means that there is no fixed, permanent self. You are not a stone sculpture, defined and limited by your current abilities. You are a flowing river, constantly changing. When you believe, I am a person who is good at X, you create a mental prison. This I is the inner critic, the scorekeeper. It constantly asks, am I doing this right? What will they think of me? This internal chatter consumes cognitive energy and paralyzes your natural instincts. Athletes call the state of mushin, or no mind, being in the zone. It is a state of peak performance where the self vanishes and only the action remains. True confidence isn't born from knowing you are perfect. It's born from the freedom of not having to be perfect, allowing you to fully merge with the moment. Emptiness is the realization that I am not this, I am not that. It is the freedom to become anything. An empty cup can be filled with water. An empty mind can be filled with infinite potential. So how do you connect with this state of limitless potential? Here is your first technique, the emptiness practice. Once a day, for just 5 minutes, find a quiet place to sit. Close your eyes. Your only job is to notice your thoughts without judgment. This might be the hardest 5 minutes of your day at first. Your mind will rebel, that's normal. When a thought of self-doubt appears, don't fight it. Simply label it. Thinking. Your job is not to win, but to simply return again and again to the quiet anchor of your breath. You are not trying to stop your thoughts. You are practicing being the sky, not the clouds. This daily practice creates a space between you and your self-doubt, a space where a new, more confident self can be born. But what happens when you find this calm, yet still can't act? This is the work of our second enemy. It's 11 p.m. You told yourself you'd work on your goals tonight, but instead, you spent hours scrolling through TikTok. Now, regret sets in, and you promise tomorrow. Deep down, you're starting to doubt if tomorrow will ever come. This enemy is the master of procrastination. The samurai knew that motivation is unreliable. Willpower, as modern psychology confirms, is a finite resource. Every small decision you make throughout the day, what to eat, what to wear, whether to answer an email, chips away at your willpower. This is a real phenomenon known as decision fatigue. Relying on this depleted resource to build a new life is a recipe for failure. This is why the samurai didn't just have routines, they had rituals. A ritual is something you do automatically, but it has a special meaning. It signals to your brain that this is not a negotiation. It is a non-negotiable part of who you are. They understood that the body can lead the mind. When your mind is weak, you must give the order to your body. The action itself creates the momentum, and the motivation will follow. Here is your technique for defeating inaction. The unbreakable rule. Choose one single habit you want to build. Now create your unbreakable rule. I will do it for at least 2 minutes every single day. Every single day. The important part is doing it for 2 minutes. It is so small, your mind cannot make a credible excuse to avoid it. Even on your worst day, you can do something for 2 minutes. This isn't about making massive progress, it's about never breaking the chain. The act of showing up day after day rewires your brain. It forges discipline not from feeling, but from an unbreakable commitment. It burns the bridge to the excuse of, "I don't have time." But even with perfect discipline, a more subtle enemy can poison your progress. Have you ever scrolled through social media, seen your friend's success, and then closed the app feeling bad about yourself? Thinking, "Why haven't I achieved anything yet?" This enemy forces you to measure your life with someone else's ruler. Bushido gives a solution: gi, your unique duty. When you focus on your unique path, comparison becomes meaningless. Modern science explains why. Your brain's cognitive capacity is limited. When you dedicate that precious resource to tracking others' lives, you have less available to focus on your own inner world. You essentially outsource your sense of self. This leads to identity diffusion, a state where you no longer know what you truly want. You begin to live a life based on a distorted echo of someone else's values. Your career choices, your relationships, your hobbies become guided not by your own inner compass, but by what you think will look good to others. This is more than just feeling bad. You slowly lose who you are. You become a ghost in your own life, haunting the hallways of someone else's dreams. The Zen idea of ku, or emptiness, means stopping others from controlling your life and taking back your own power, emptying the mind of others so it can be filled with your own presence. Here is your technique for silencing comparison. The North Star practice. Take out a piece of paper. At the top, write, "My duty is to." Then finish that sentence. "My duty is to master this one skill. My duty is to be a kinder parent. My duty is to create something beautiful just for me." This is your personal mission statement, your North Star. Place it where you can see it every day, on your desk, on your mirror. When the poison of comparison creeps in, look at it. It is your compass. It pulls your focus away from their path and back onto yours. It reminds you that your journey is the only one that matters. But what if you feel no desire to even find a path? This is the fourth and perhaps most dangerous enemy. Have you ever woken up and spent over 30 minutes in bed, scrolling? Not because you were lazy, but because you couldn't find a single reason to get up. That is the voice of no motivation. This enemy is not calm, it is a void, the exhaustion of burnout. How is this different from just being lazy? The difference lies in intention and outcome. Laziness is driven by a desire to escape discomfort. It's choosing the easy path to avoid a difficult task, and it almost always leads to feelings of guilt and anxiety. A strategic pause, or zazen, is driven by the intention to heal and recenter. It is a necessary stop to restore your willpower, a concept psychologists call ego depletion. The outcome is not guilt, but clarity and renewed motivation. Laziness is an attempt to run away from the question, "What should I be doing?" You numb yourself with distraction to avoid the discomfort of that question. Zazen, on the other hand, is the courageous act of sitting with the question. You stop running and allow the discomfort and exhaustion to simply be. It is a question-filled stillness, a time to observe what is truly happening within you. So how do you know if you need true rest or if you're just procrastinating? Use this technique, the 3-minute rule. When you feel unable to start a task, commit to doing it for just 3 minutes. If, after 3 minutes, your energy returns, it was likely just mental resistance. But if you still feel a profound sense of exhaustion, that is a clear signal that you have no energy left. That is when you need to apply the recenter practice. This is not about being lazy, it is a strategic and intentional act of healing. Schedule 30 minutes. The goal is not to do nothing, but to unplug your mind from the demand to perform and reconnect with your senses. Choose one of the following simple actions. Your only job is to experience it without any goal or judgment. Listen. Put on a piece of music with no lyrics, close your eyes and simply listen. Don't analyze it, just let the sound wash over you. Look, sit by a window and watch the clouds move, or the leaves on a tree sway in the wind. Follow their movement without thinking about what it means. Feel. Make a warm cup of tea. Feel the warmth of the mug in your hands. Notice the steam on your face. Pay attention to the taste. Breathe. Don't try to meditate. Simply notice the sensation of your breath. Feel the air coming in and feel it going out. When your mind wanders, gently guide it back to that simple feeling. This practice is a deep cleaning for the mind. It is giving your brain permission to stop thinking and to simply be. By shifting your focus from your exhausted mind to your immediate senses, you clear the space for your true, natural energy to resurface. Now, with your energy returning, you may face one final enemy at the gates of change. Have you ever bought a self-help book, felt inspired reading it, and then did absolutely nothing? You want to change, but the fear of the unknown keeps you trapped. This is the fear of failure, of judgment. The samurai had the ultimate solution for this fear, their perspective on death. This isn't about being dark or scary. It is about the abandonment of attachment. Our most fundamental instinct is self-preservation. Our brain is wired to interpret social failure, criticism, or embarrassment as a form of death, a threat to our place in the tribe. The samurai understood this. By confronting the ultimate physical death, they stopped being scared of little things. If you are prepared to lose your life, what power does the fear of failure hold over you? None. The Stoic philosophers of ancient Rome had a similar practice. Memento mori, remember you will die. This isn't about fostering depression, it's a tool for clarification. By vividly imagining the worst-case scenario, your own non-existence, you perform a mental change. All the smaller fears that plague your daily life are exposed for what they are: temporary and insignificant. Paradoxically, embracing the end gives you the unwavering courage to truly begin. Here is your technique for dissolving fear. The mortality practice. This is not a daily practice. It is a powerful tool to be used in moments of profound indecision, when the fear of change feels overwhelming. When you are frozen, ask yourself this one powerful question. If I knew for certain that this was the last day of my life, would I make this choice? This question cuts through all the noise of future worries. It brings you into the radical urgency of the present moment. It forces you to distinguish between the fears created by your ego and the true desires of your spirit. It is the sword that cuts through the illusion of fear. The enemies in your mind, self-doubt, inaction, comparison, no motivation, and fear, are formidable, but they are not invincible, and they are not you. You now have strong tools to fight your inner battles. The emptiness practice, the unbreakable rule, the North Star practice, the recenter practice, and the mortality practice. These are not just ideas, they are weapons with which you fight the inner battle. The path to an unmoved mind is not a destination, it is a daily practice. Start today. Choose one enemy, one technique, and begin. The greatest victory you will ever win is the one over yourself.